Hey, welcome back to the Junior Small P channel. Thanks for joining us for today's extemporaneous and spontaneous look at the news headlines, and in particular, our favorite subject of discussion here, gold, where it's going, where it's been, and our community opinion pertaining to the yellow metal and its brother, cousin, sibling, whatever you want to call it, silver. But today we're going to talk a lot about gold because it's in some pretty good headlines. And as you can see by this chart here of the gold price, source from Bloomberg, the price of gold has been doing very well since the opening of the year. Just look at that, where it started, where we are currently. You know, just trace that line there. Look at the trajectory of that that chart. And if you were to replace the word gold with, and I use this example quite a bit here on the channel at times, with the name of any stock or other investment vehicle, you would see quite a fervor regarding and surrounding that particular asset, investment vehicle, stock, whatever you want to call it. It would be getting a lot of traction and attention because that is a very healthy looking display of performance there. So let's look back here at just this part of the year so far before we get into the current headlines, because this is going to definitely pertain to some things we talk about coming up. Gold demand surged a record 21%, and gold investment demand a record 122% in the first quarter of 2016. Those are incredible numbers. And this is according to the World Gold Council, who released their Gold Demand Trends Q1 2016 report today. Key findings, okay, gold top performing asset in Q1, up 17% US dollar terms. Demand surged to the second highest level ever, highest since Q4 of 2012. Overall demand for Q1 2016 increased by 21% to 1,290 tons, up from 1,070 tons first quarter 2015. Global investment demand was 618 tons. Again, we're going to see that number again, up 122% from 278 tons. You guys get the point. Investment demand is surging in UK, in the EU. Gold demand very robust. Germany, largest buyer. Central bank demand dipped slightly, 109 tons, but you're going to see some headlines coming up that central banks overall are still gobbling up buying gold. Consumer demand was down 13%. That was particularly in the jewelry area. Again, I don't see who buys. I don't buy gold jewelry. Maybe some people do. The only one I ever bought was probably my wedding band. Not a big fan. I know some cultures are. But if I go buy gold, it's going to be a lot of it, and it's going to be in the form of bullion, coins, or bars, or something of that beautiful stackable nature. Demand in the technology sector fell just a little bit, and I would attribute that to some of the headlines we saw earlier, just in the economy, looking at the decrease in sales for a lot of the smartphones, particularly the iPhone. You know, a lot of those smart devices and computers, PC sales are down a little bit even. A lot of those devices utilize gold in their production, and people are holding on to some of these devices longer. And as the economy slows, people are not going to have the discretionary spending to go out and buy devices that are made with technology and that use gold. So, of course, there will be a demand dip there. Total supply up 5% to 1,135 tons in Q1 2016 from the 1,081 tons in the first quarter of 2015. Mine supply up 8% to 774 tons. So you can see there's some quite a feverish kind of demand for gold, reaching levels that we haven't really seen in recent memory, as far back as 2012 anyway. But we're seeing quite an uptick in gold demand, and there's, I think, a lot of reasons for that. I think subconsciously, the entire world population knows the safety in gold. They know the history of gold. They know deep down inside the value that gold can hold for preserving one's wealth in a time of economic uncertainty. And the headlines are out there, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the conversations. It's in the news, whether it's regarding the political election or whether it is just the entire geopolitical relationships between different countries right now. There's some tension. And with that tension, there's the threat of conflict. And, people are a little bit nervous about how other investments are going to perform and want some safety, and so they're moving into gold. And we'll see that here as we move on. So investment demand ignites price rally. We've seen that. The price in the first quarter, U.S. gold price appreciated 17% on the strength of investor conviction. This was matched by local price gains in markets across the globe. Again, enthusiastic investor demand. We're seeing even the ETF market echoing in surging physical demand for gold bars and coins in a handful of markets. U.S. investors in particular keen to add to their holdings, wanting the security of gold amid economic uncertainty. Again, uncertainty. The Fed cannot make a decision. It's shrouded in secrecy. Nobody really knows for sure what direction they're going to take with interest rates. We've seen statements and heard things from one of the friends here of the channel, Peter Schiff, just the other day, was saying how basically the Fed's in a tight spot. We've talked about this in the past. They can't raise interest rates. The United States is the biggest debtor. We owe so much debt. If they raise interest rates to any level that's reasonable, it would cripple the economy because the debt would be unserviceable. We could not service the interest payments on the debt. So, anyways, gold demand, economic uncertainty, yes. Lori Williams, ETF, gold purchases trump Q1 Asian demand downturn. The latest analysis by London-based precious metals consultancy Metals Focus on behalf of the World Gold Council for Q1 supply and demand has only served to emphasize what we have been saying here for some time. Namely, that the huge moves of gold into the big gold ETFs has dwarfed what has appeared to be a significant demand downturn over the period from India and China. Indeed, in the latest issue of the World Gold Council's quarterly demand trends publication, for which the data was prepared in Q1, gold demand at its highest level ever recorded. Now, we got another statement. Let's piggyback onto that. You just read there that the highest level ever recorded, and now you're hearing things like it's just the start of a gold rally, according to Paul Singer. This is from Bloomberg, May 12, 2016. What's he saying? Well, billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Singer said that gold's best quarter in 30 years is probably just the beginning of a rebound as global investors, including Stan Druckenmiller, weigh the ramifications of unprecedented monetary easing on inflation. I recommend you look up some of the articles and statements that are out from that individual, Stan Druckenmiller. Quite sobering. These guys are talking about some things happening that are, quite sobering. Moving on, it makes a great deal of sense to own gold. Other investors may be finally starting to agree, Singer wrote in an April 28th letter to clients. Investors have increasingly started processing the fact that the world's central bankers are completely focused on debasing their currencies. I believe the last video we did, just remember we talked about that, debasing currencies, inflation, all of these things, currency weakness, hyperinflationary environments, government defaults, what it could lead to, and just inflation and hyperinflation scenarios that have occurred in history, and in some of them in very recent history, and how no economy, no monetary system that operates with fiat paper is immune to that occurrence. So keep that in mind. I know there's a lot of skeptics out there. We get a lot of people stopping by this channel. Oh, we'll talk about that at the end. There's some cool stuff we'll talk about. You'll see. Central banks are loading up on gold. So yeah, there was a downturn earlier, but we're seeing some central banks. It's uptick. This has been a great year for gold. The precious metals up 19% now currently, and recently crossed the $1,300 per ounce mark for the first time in 15 months after pulling back into the 1265 area. One of the most encouraging signs for the yellow metal is that demand has come from all sorts of places. Buyers have come back into the market in India, the world's largest buyer of gold, after a strike by the country's jewelers associations brought business to a standstill. So that's one of the reasons why we saw in the earlier article a mention of a downtrend or a decrease in India's purchasing of the yellow metal, but brought the businesses to a standstill. And in the U.S., demand for bullion is the strongest it's been in 30 years. So it looks like Americans are finally waking up. However, I still don't meet very many that know anything about gold or consider it even a slight option as a place to put their wealth, as a place to save money. So we saw the one hedge fund manager mention gold, and now we see this, gold entering a new bull market according to J.P. Morgan. Now this is a statement coming out of CNBC. This article, gold prices are surging this year, and that has one of Wall Street's largest banks flocking to the yellow metal. We're recommending our clients to position for a new and very long bull market for gold. JP Morgan Private Bank's Solita Marcelli said Tuesday on CNBC's Futures Now. After seeing 3 back-to-back years of losses, the precious metal has rallied 20% in 2016, and that's just the start of the next leg higher. According to Marcelli, $1,400 is very much in the cards this year. And that's interesting because, at the beginning of the year, before we saw this outbreak, this performance in gold and the Shanghai Gold Exchange startup, before any of this really occurred, what do you remember the typical opinion of gold was out there in the financial media? I know you guys are answering the question and you're probably yelling it and shouting it into your computer right now. Of course, yes. The comments we typically were hearing and seeing and predictions regarding gold, even from places like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or any of these, was that, gold's going to go to 600 or it's going to go to 700. It's over, it's dropping, it's done. It's, the economy's recovered, gold's done, it's dead, get out of it. And of course, that changes in a day. As soon as you see some performance, they change their tune and act like they called it. We'll give them a free pass on that. All right, we're going to do something kind of new here. We haven't done this ever. We've never really called people out on the channel. But, every once in a while we get these certain comments that tend to repeat a theme that is just untrue and false here on the channel. And here's my favorite. This is the one. Gold peddler. I see people saying, you're just selling gold. You're a gold seller. And I really don't know how to prove that I'm not. I don't have a company. I don't sell any gold. As a matter of fact, I've tried to reiterate here on the channel multiple times that I try to buy as much gold as I can, and I am ashamed and embarrassed at any time that I am forced to sell gold in order to fund my life or pay off an unexpected expense or something like that. So, no Greg Taylor, wherever you are with the big G next to your name. No Greg. I do not peddle gold. I don't peddle silver for that metal. I'm not a peddler. I don't peddle anything. That includes hats, socks, trousers, axe handles, bedpans. No, I do not peddle. I don't sell anything. That's not the business that I am in. As a matter of fact, I've never sold any metal through this channel. I've never been sponsored by any gold or silver dealers or sellers. That would be great if Atmex or Monex or let's see, who else would I like? Any big company, if they wanted to send me metal, I'd be stoked. But that just doesn't happen. Gold is so valuable that people don't give it away in order for people like myself to promote it. And gold really doesn't need promotion. I do this channel out of a passion for the subject matter, and that's it. This is basically a community where we gather to talk about these things, share and pass on information. And I've talked about this kind of in the past. This channel was born out of the fact that these conversations used to take place between me and certain individuals and friends on a regular daily or weekly basis. And it got to the point where I realized, hey, there might be other people I don't know that would enjoy having this conversation or hearing these headlines that I tend to repeat or read in the news and then spout off to friends or family. So that's how this channel was born, out of a passion for the subject. I don't make any money selling gold. It's never happened. And again, I don't get sponsored by anybody. So that's it. The only thing I do tell people about when they choose to buy metals is find out if the company you're buying from has a radio commercial, and if it does, I consider that automatic exclusion criteria. Typically, if a company has ads on the radio, when I've looked into them, they are not the most reputable, and they're just shady, and there's a lot of costs associated, and I would steer clear. I avoid companies that I hear radio advertisements for. So that's that. So thanks, Greg Taylor. Thanks for stopping by the channel to leave that comment. I'm glad we could address it here now. Hopefully others like Greg who think we're selling metal here can listen to this little diatribe and realize that it's not the case. But we got another one here. I like this one. This is great. This guy just seems just down to earth, reputable. Like he spends a lot of his valuable time in a basement somewhere playing World of Warcraft or something. Real gaming crew, and he's got the little gun and the fire over there. So this guy's definitely like a reliable source of information. We could go on and probably ridicule and extrapolate all kinds of assumptions based on the little images there and the name and the image to the side there, the RG. It says, sounds to me like you spend your life. I have to kind of interpret the hieroglyphics here, or the geek-aglyphics, or whatever they would like to be referred to as. So it sounds to me like you spend your lifetime savings on gold and Bitcoin came along. So I'm going to make an assumption here, because the grammar and the broken structure and lack of capital letters, proper grammar, nouns, pronouns, everything, we're going to have to assume that what he's saying is, it sounds to me like you spent your life savings on gold and then Bitcoin came along and now you're upset at Bitcoin because you feel like your gold is threatened. Well, real gaming crew, that is not the case. I did not spend my life savings on gold, and I'm not upset that Bitcoin came along because I don't feel threatened by Bitcoin at all. I feel sorry for anyone who gets duped by Bitcoin and has lost money in Bitcoin, or were to be buying in at very high levels and then see Bitcoin suffer some tragic loss. I've never lost any money in gold. It's been around for 70 centuries. Bitcoin, significantly less than that, has not been around long at all. Gold has a very good track record in preserving wealth and preserving dynasties. I can't name a single pot that was dug up from the Roman Empire that contained Bitcoin, where the wealth was transferred over a period of about 2,000 years. So, no, I'm not worried about it. I'm not jealous. I think Bitcoin's just stupid. You know, that's really what I think about it. I've made a lot of videos on it, so I don't need to get too into detail on that. But keep gaming, keep collecting those little gold coins in the internet. If you can, get out, get some sun every once in a while. You don't want to get rickets. You don't want to get scurvy or anything like that. So make sure you're getting proper nutrition. Get some vitamin C. Eat your vegetables. Get some sun. Stretch. Try to do something physical. It would be good for you. I'd encourage it. Maybe go out and run through real woods and hike a mountain and try that out. You might see some improvements in your neural function as well. Alright, now this is a great comment. So we saw 2 negative comments. Here's a really good comment. I'd like to put a shout out to these guys. You know, I don't see this gentleman's Superior 7 on here too often, but this was a great comment pulled out of one of the videos, and it was the one about millennials. And he goes, as a millennial, I would like to live in a small town, grow most of my produce, be very self-sufficient, provide for my small community, and never, quote, retire. When I attain a great age, and thy wisdom has passed on to the children, I will then greet death and go with him gladly, departing this life content. That's a pretty cool comment. I like that. And then Enlightened Patriot, one of our most frequent guests and comment contributors. Big shout out to Enlightened Patriot. Welcome. I know you're watching this video right now. Love seeing what you write. Love your life story. I've read every one of your comments, and so has some friends and family of mine. So we like seeing you on here. Superiors, he's commenting on the statement above, and he goes, well said. So, great minds think alike. I definitely enjoy. These are the things I enjoy. I do read your guys' comments. I know sometimes I don't answer all of them. It gets very busy. There's, you know, if you look at 300 and something videos we made 3 years ago still get comments almost every day. So there's quite a lot of comments that are always coming in, and it's kind of, it gets difficult to keep up with all of them and try to answer them all. I try to pay attention to the most recent videos because there is some frequent conversations taking place on there that I try to look out for and help participate in. So hope you guys like that edition. Let me know if you like the thing where we kind of throw some comments up at the end of these videos. We could make this a routine thing where we go over some frequent comments and address things in that way. So tell me if that works for you. All right, thanks for stopping by the Junior Small P channel today. Thank you guys all for being here. As always, I enjoy the conversations and you guys taking the time of your day to stop by, join the conversation, and contribute to the Junior Small P channel here. Have a good day.